Good afternoon, everybody. You are with me, Kia, and my show today with Questions with the Queen. As you can see, I already have a question for those who are actually tuned in today. I want to go ahead and give credit where credit is due to the cameraman, which is my husband, Steve.
What's up?
And as you can see, like I said, the edition is Backlash. So with that being said, we have a disclaimer that my husband will go ahead and explain.
Okay. So as you've already seen, we do have a theme for this week's show, which is about Backlash. Of course, that's tomorrow on the WWE Network. I'd say that's the only thing you're paying $9.99 for at this point, because, hey, the network's free otherwise.
Yeah, it is.
But because Backlash is not one of the considered big four, that being WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, or SummerSlam, this is one that, requires a little more thought unless you just have one match that just completely stands out. So for full clarity, these questions, normally we allow you guys to step in and be able to ask your questions and whatnot, especially if it's themed. But for the sake of this particular one, Kia does know the questions up front this week, which gave her time to be able to research her answers. But we do have 6, and we also do encourage you to still leave your questions at the bottom. That way, in the event that you do have any other questions concerning Backlash that are not asked tonight, Kia will take the time to go through social media and will answer them. So, with that being said, if you're ready to go, we'll get to the first question. Our first question was, what did you think of Backlash actually being canceled last year? There was no Backlash event last year.
To be honest, I'm not going to even lie. I didn't even think about Backlash with all the news of like Stomping Ground, and so I was looking forward to that instead of Backlash. I really didn't, see where it was canceled, or I really had paid attention. So for me, I wasn't too upset that it was canceled.
Okay. So, of course, the big match being set up for this pay-per-view is the match between Edge and Randy Orton that they have deemed, quote, the greatest match ever. That is quite a bill to have to live up to. So, in your opinion, can and will Edge and Randy Orton be able to live up to the moniker of the greatest wrestling match of all time, or will it falter?
Okay, before I answer the question, anybody that knows me knows that I came in on the back half of the Attitude Era, and I caught both guys at that time, I believe in the prime of their career. So, to answer your question, if it's going to be the greatest match and not a bust match, I want to see them come in with their A game in the prime of their career, doing their thing. As we all saw this past Monday on Raw, Christian, Edge's best friend, came out and was honest as a best friend would be and say, I don't think you're ready. I don't think the Edge that I know is ready for this match. I don't think it's really going to be a good match. But, it is what it is. And Christian, for more or less, was not apologetic for it. He said what he said, and he didn't take it back. And you could see Edge's mind just kind of trying to figure out how to talk to Christian or how to word what he was going to say to his best friend. But, as any good best friend, Christian got into his head, got into his mind. And I think as Edge left that night, he was amped and he was prepped, and I think he was getting into the mindset of, I've got to go in, I've got to be the Edge of old and get prepared for it. Now, Randy Orton, as we all know, has come and gone, and I feel like he can come and go and be perfectly fine to be on his game. Again, he's a predator. He's prepared for almost anything and everything. But to answer your question, if it's going to be the greatest match, and it's a big if, they need to come in as if they're in their prime, and that's all I really got to say about that.
So, just on the spot, yes or no, will it happen?
Be the greatest match? We'd have to wait and see. I can't give a yes or no.
Found a way to duck around that question. All right. Our next one was, out of all the backlashes that have happened up until now, and there's been quite a bit of them, in what year was your favorite Backlash pay-per-view and why?
Oh. I've seen there's been several backlashes, as you stated, but my favorite would have to be 2018. It was the one in New Jersey. It was a loaded match, but the 2 matches that stick out in my head would be the Seth Rollins versus The Miz. As you all know, I'm a big stan of Seth, and I followed The Miz's career. So, with that being said, I feel like they were fighting for the IC title. I also know that Rollins did retain after Miz, I believe, hit him with the skull-crushing finale. It did not get Seth down, and they had a lot of back and forth going between the match, but in the end, Seth, curb stomped the living crap out of him and retained the title. So for me, that match, but let's not forget, we had Nia and Alexa, who in reality are best friends or were best friends, and they were having to fight for the Raw Women's title. And again, a lot of back and forth. They knew each other very well. They worked very well together. Obviously, with them traveling, that I would like to think they're together all the time. The women's match was defended, but Nia ended up retaining with, I believe, a Samoan drop. And I can tell you, that doesn't take much to take Alexa out with as small as she is. So those are the two matches that come to mind off the top of my head, and that's why I feel like, to me, 2018 was the best Backlash. But that is my personal opinion. I don't know. Y'all would have to go back and research and tell me what you think.
Okay. Keeping on that same theme also, of course, you can't sit here and talk about your favorite one without also mentioning, is there a Backlash in your mind that, maybe not necessarily the worst, but one that if you didn't see it, it's just very forgettable. So what, in your opinion, was that one?
I could tell you 2005, but that was, again, you have to think, in 2005, I'm just literally getting into wrestling. To me, it was more about the company that I was keeping and who I was watching it with instead of the actual pay-per-view. So I'd have to say 2005, only because I really don't remember much from that, saying it's just been a while, but I don't remember really any match from 2005 of that Backlash.
If memory serves me, and granted, this is going back a little ways, I believe that was a pay-per-view. I believe John Cena was just starting his really good run, his first run as champion. He had just beaten JBL at the WrestleMania directly before it. But that's honestly about all I can remember from it. And granted, that is going back a long time, over 15 years. So, it'd just be something where it's, there's not really much to this pay-per-view that stands out per se.
To anybody that is actually watching, to the person in the back, the cameraman, that's my husband. He is a stats guy. He's a factoid guy. If you have a question about anything, he or our son, our oldest son, will be the person to go to. But I forgot about John Cena. But obviously, again, 2005, I didn't remember. It was just enjoying the moment and being with my boyfriend, who is now husband at the time. So, yeah.
Still me.
Yeah, still you.
Okay, I got, so your next one was, and it goes along with, really more of a pay-per-view theme than necessarily just Backlash, but the question was, if you could be able to set up a pay-per-view from start to finish, just you having complete control of the card, what pay-per-view would that be? And it also includes, the possibility of being able to, set up a pay-per-view even if it doesn't necessarily run or is in existence anymore.
For anybody that knows me, I am a big fan of tag teams. I'm a big fan of women empowerment. So on the knowledge of knowing that, we had an evolution for women that I just absolutely loved. It was just female refs, female announcers, female talent. Stephanie McMahon, I think, was the one that spearheaded the whole thing. I think the only male I think I saw in the picture when the pictures had to be taken was Triple H. But again, evolution, because I feel like for a woman, we are just as good, if not better, than the guys. We look good doing it. We go out, we kick ass more or less. And to me, that would be one where I would want to bring in, like, my favorites: Lita, Trish, Sasha, Bayley, just different people from NXT, people from Raw, people from SmackDown, and I would just Evolution 2. There is no way. That, or I would love the Mae Young Classic. I saw that one. I fell in love with it. It took a minute for me to get into it, but again, my husband, who is a factoid guy, was able to tell me who this person was when I asked, and what they did, and where they came from, and why they came to NXT. So for me, getting into the Mae Young Classic, I'd like to be able to do that one. So again, female empowerment, those would be my two.
And also, for those of us that are watching this through the Instagram, feel free to go back and look a couple of pictures ago. We had a number of favorable comments on our channel about Evolution that just showed on FS1 earlier this week. Of course, that's starting the run for potentially an Evolution 2. I know WWE directly paying attention to the viewership of that Evolution, but I actually put out what is, in my opinion, and just mine, what I feel would be a great Evolution 2 card. Take a peek at that and then give your thoughts. And we'll have Kia throw together her list when she has a moment to, and we'll post that on our site as well.
Yes, it will be posted. But I actually saw your list, and I actually thought it was a favorable list, one that I could actually really get behind with each and every woman. So
I'll take a second to repost that once this video is up. But we've got one more question before we wrap things up and get ourselves ready for Top Rope spoilers later this evening. What match, without giving your answers, because of course that's for Top Rope spoilers, but what match this year are you looking most forward to out of the ones that are on the card so far?
again, for me personally, I looked through the whole entire card, or what we know of the card right now, and they have some pretty good ones, but the one that obviously for a female that I'm interested in is the triple threat tag team women's match. The one with Sasha and Bayley, obviously best friends. You could see Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, who have gotten really close over the past couple of months. And then you have Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, who are also best friends who have traveled together. That's the match, in my opinion, that I'm looking forward to. I cannot speak for anybody else, but I just want to see how it plays out. I want to see if Sasha and Bayley can retain those titles, or will the Iconics come in and spoil it and get them back, or how will Nikki and Alexa feel after losing those titles. So to me, that is the match I'm the most excited about and looking forward to seeing that take place and seeing how it kind of, plays out. So that's the match I'm looking forward to.
Especially with the added note earlier this week that the winner of that match also has another title defense this upcoming Wednesday on NXT. Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox waiting in the wings for whoever survives out of that match.
I'm going to tell you right there, with that note that my husband just gave, I want to see any of the three women, or any of the three groups of women, either Sasha and Bayley hold on and go down to NXT. Again, Sasha and Bayley, that is their home. That is where they started. So I'd love to see them verse Shotzi and Tegan. Again, Tegan is a person, as we all know, who she looks sweet, and she's the girl next door, but she could turn off her aggression and she could turn on her aggression. And I want to see when, titles are on the line, what she does and how her and Shotzi work together. So that'd be something for me to see. I don't care what team goes down there and defends the titles. But that is just me. We'll have to wait and see. Let's let it play out. With that being said, this is the end of the show. As you can see, because I've already answered my questions, I have a question for the audience. What is your favorite Backlash, and why is it your favorite Backlash? I'm going to post this picture later today, and I want to see if I can get some comments for Top Rope spoilers. So, with that being said, I'm signing off. I will see you all later. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next Saturday on my show. Love you guys. Bye.